Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us tonight. The desperate search for a beautiful 3-year-old Florida girl, Kelly.
I have read all the reports. There is nothing there. There's nothing concrete.
According to Orlando station WFTV, the FBI is investigating whether Cindy Anthony tried to sabotage the Kaylee case by allegedly giving authorities the wrong hairbrush in which to compare Kaylee's DNA to. A former Anthony family spokesperson sent an email to the Orlando station that was allegedly from Cindy Anthony, saying that although she never lied, she also never went to the bathroom and retrieved the hairbrush only used for Kaylee.
Hair samples don't mean anything.
This is a showdown occurred in an Orange County court today, where arguments were heard on a wide-ranging gag order in this case.
I didn't tell the public that there was alleged chloroform in the trunk of that car. I didn't tell the public that there are allegedly chloroform searches on the Anthony's computer. I didn't tell the public that there was hair found in the trunk of the car that could be Kaylee's. I didn't tell the public that that hair has post-mortem banding on it. That all came from this side of the room.
I got within 3 feet of my daughter's car. The worst odor that you could possibly smell in this world.
It shouldn't be about a prosecution's case. Kaylee Marie has rights. She should have the right for everybody to look for her.
Tonight we learn allegations have surfaced that grandmother Cindy Anthony actually tried to trick the FBI. They needed a DNA match to little Kelly's hair sample. Remember that hair found in the trunk of Mom Casey's car? Take a listen to this.
Cindy Anthony tries to give the appearance she's cooperating with investigators, but Channel 9 has learned she and her husband George have been stalling for weeks in answering detectives' follow-up questions. Today, this email surfaced. It appears that the Anthony's former spokesman, Larry Garrison, says he confronted Cindy by email about why she gave Casey's hairbrush instead of Kaylee's hairbrush to investigators who wanted a DNA sample. He says Cindy's email response was this, quote, "I never lied. I just never went to my bathroom to get the hairbrush that I used only for Kaylee."
Will this be tantamount to obstruction of justice? Straight out to Kathy Belch with WFTV. Kathy, what happened?
Well, what we understand is that this email came to light. The family's former spokesperson, Larry Garrison, said that he confronted her about giving the wrong hairbrush to investigators on July 21st, which would have been about a week after we all found out that Kaylee was missing, and that was her answer, that she never lied. She just simply gave them a different brush that was used apparently not only by Kaylee, as they had asked. What we have been told is that if you withhold evidence that an officer is asking for in an official capacity, it could be obstruction of justice, but of course authorities have discretion in these cases.
We are taking your calls live out to Mike Brooks, former Fed with the FBI. Mike, explain why it is so crucial, that the FBI have a known sample of little Kelly's hair.
Well, when you're comparing DNA, mitochondrial DNA, Nancy, it's very important you have this. And not only obstruction of justice, if in fact an FBI officer, an FBI agent asked her for that and she gave it to him or her and said, yes, this is the brush of my granddaughter, and it wasn't, then also she could be charged with lying to a federal officer.
And Unleashed lawyer Susan Moss, Ray Giudice, Greg McKeith, and Susan Moss, it doesn't have to be verbal. It doesn't have to be expressly stated, this is little Kelly's hairbrush. If they say, can you give me Kelly's hairbrush, and you come out and hand him a hairbrush, what does that say?
Absolutely. It's called a verbal act, and by giving a hairbrush is somebody else's hairbrush, she's committed. Her credibility is gone.
What about it, Ray?
Sue and Mike are right. I mean, you don't have to actually lie, but if you just fail to do what's asked of you on a federal investigation especially, that can be obstruction. Now, I will say they still have to show intent.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight, Ray.
Yeah.
So the feds say, give me the hairbrush. If they don't have a subpoena, do you have to give them the hairbrush?
Yeah, the question has to be specific. Give us Kaylee's hairbrush, the one that she uses. So
if
the
they
question
don't
is
have
important.
a warrant for that.
No, you cannot. The answer is yes. They don't need a warrant. It's a federal investigation through a state investigation, and she has to be honest with them.
What about it, Greg McKeithen?
I agree she has to be honest, but remember, we must examine the totality of the circumstances here and find out, was there really any criminal intent here? Perhaps this is just an honest mistake, Nancy.
Well,
Look
let's
at her
go
intent.
back over the email. I've got the email right here. Kathy Belch, we'll figure out where this email came from, and did the former spokesperson really send it? I don't know. She says, I never lied. I just never went to my bathroom to get the hairbrush that I used only for Kelly. All right, to Dr. Patricia Saunders, clinical psychologist. What do you think?
Well, there's consciousness of guilt. She said, I never lied. And
But-
she said, but I never went what they asked me to go and do. So she heard what they asked her to do, and her behavior was contrary to it.
Back to Mark Williams, everybody. You know Mark from WNDB. What I want to reiterate is the significance of little Kelly's hair. Hair was found where, Mark Williams?
Hair was found in the trunk of Casey Anthony's Pontiac Sunbird by investigators, and they sent that off to the FBI lab, and it came back with, they said, yeah, this came from a human, and it had that so-called death band on the bottom of it, the discoloration of the bottom of the roots.
In fact, to Dr. Lawrence Kobylinski, famed forensic scientist out of John Jay College of Criminal Justice on the Anthony defense team, hair that is from a deceased person has what we have called a death ring, a death band. Explain.
Well, it's actually, Nancy, an accumulation of air pockets, microscopic air pockets, very close to the root end of the hair. Under the microscope, it looks like a dark band. Sometimes it looks brownish, sometimes blackish, sometimes it's a little whiter than in other hairs, and this generally forms when you have a scalp that is in the process of decaying.
To Drew Petrimo with WDBO in court today. Drew, I want to go back to the possibility that grandmother Cindy Anthony intentionally tried to trick the FBI. What are you hearing? I'm going to Drew Petrimo. Are you with me?
I'm with you, Nancy. What it had to do with this brush that she allegedly gave over to investigators, and you know there was an email saying that while she didn't give the brush, that would have had the hair that Kaylee had, that she gave a brush that had maybe Kaylee and Casey's hair on it.
Everybody has to go to break. Program note, this Thursday night, a special Nancy Grace Investigates in-depth look at the critical first 24 hours after little Kelly goes missing, then reported missing, then Friday, the critical first 30 days of the Kelly Anthony investigation.